Hello, my name is Chun Young Ho. I'm a urologist and currently enrolled in the Armed Forces Medical Command. I have founded and currently managing a nonprofit project named Doctors on the Cloud, which focuses on saving patients with COVID 19 through evidence based patient selection and monitoring. Today, I want to introduce an AI-based platform for COVID-19 to select patients and monitor them efficiently, currently used in the military hospitals in Korea and by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the citizens currently residing overseas. And recently was supported by Google AI for Social Good Fund as one of the 30 projects worldwide for solving problems during the COVID-19 pandemic. As widely known, the selection of patients for professional treatment, as in admission to the general ward or ICU intensive care unit, is critical for reducing fatality of COVID-19. The patients needing professional care is around 10 to 20% for COVID-19, and for the rest of the patients, self-quarantine and conservative treatment is enough. Since there are limited medical resources, as in testing kits, medical staff, and hospital beds, selection of the patients who will need therapy is critical. So we have developed two machine learning based outcome prediction models. The first model predicts which patients will need oxygen supplement or any other treatment that will need hospitalization. The second model predicts which patients will require ICU care. The data set that these models were based on included 5,000 patients, which were all patients in Korea until June that were hospitalized. The data set was collected by the Korean Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, KCDC, and all hospitals were mandated to send every patient's data. So the data set could include every confirmed COVID-19 patients in the whole nation. The models were developed using only the variables that could be acquired by the patient themselves. Many other prediction models use imaging results or laboratory results, which can only be acquired after testing using the limited medical resources that we are trying to allocate efficiently. So we tried to develop a prediction model that can predict patients' outcome using patient demographics, body temperature, and their symptoms. The models developed showed the area under the receiver operating characteristic curve of 0.9 upon temporal external validation. Detailed information about the model is reported in a preprint journal and is currently under active review process. The project's goal, as mentioned before, is to really save lives using this machine learning technology. So we are very conscious about how these models are presented to the users, as in the patients and the associated medical staff. We thought very hard about how these models should be used. So we developed a platform that is consisted of two applications, the Patients app and the Physicians app, and they are connected to each other. The medical staff is, in many situations, the most scarce resource, so we focused on reducing the physician's workload in using these models as much as possible. In other words, the physician seldom has to input anything to use these apps, and almost all information is provided by the patients. The problems we are trying to solve are the following. First, empowering patient self-care by prediction of worsening using our prediction model. These patients who were not selected to be admitted to a hospital, the main concern for these patients is if they become worse, that needs a hospitalization or even ICU care. So our Patients app uses information that the patient provides and warns the patients using the outcome prediction model if the patient should seek professional care. Secondly, helping medical staff during their selection process for patients to be admitted to the hospital. We always explain to the medical professionals that the outcome prediction model can never replace a physician's decision. The main purpose of the prediction models are to provide supplementary information to the physicians so that they never accidentally overlook any patients that could worsen afterwards. Lastly, to help medical staff remotely monitor any patients that are currently not hospitalized. The physicians will always lose sleep on whether any patients that they examined and are advised to return to their homes and just care for themselves worsen afterwards and not receive proper care. So this is where the patient's app and the physician's app connects, and upon consent by the patient, the symptom and the status that the patient's report and the results from the prediction model get sent to the appointed medical staff so that the physician can monitor and predict if their patients worsen without having to directly contact their patients on their status. So let me show you how this works using the screenshots from my apps. After the patient logs into the patient's app, they are asked about their demographic information, including their age, gender, past medical history, smoking history, etc. And these information almost never changes, so they are asked only once and can be edited afterwards. After that, they are asked a series of questions about their symptoms and their body temperature. After that, the results are shown that warns the patients if they will possibly need professional care. Next, the physician's app. When the patient and the physician connects by an expiring 4-digit code, the patient is shown in the patient's list in the physician's app. The physician can see a list of all records that the patient created, which includes the result from the prediction models. As I mentioned before, currently these apps are deployed for use in the public, in the military hospitals, and for the monitoring of the citizens of Korea currently residing overseas, and supported by Google. Prospective studies are currently being done to prove how these applications are useful for efficient monitoring for these patients. The results are not currently available, but during the weekly interviews with the physicians, both the patients and the medical staff are overall satisfied. We are just focused on helping patients with COVID-19 and nothing else. So we are very open to any suggestions, and even the prediction models can be served as an open API so that it can be integrated to existing services. So thank you for listening, and we welcome any inquiries. Thank you.